one man, dare I say one Adonis, has the ability to bring this team back from the edge of oblivion. What's cooking? Welcome back into another edition of ESPN Louisville Plus Instant Reaction. I'm Justin Soforo, and of course I got you covered for all things cards, cats, bourbon, and bluegrass. Today, I am reacting to the game that was Louisville taking on SMU and the ACC tournament. And I'm going to tell you right now, it may be a very bipolar instant reaction because I came in right before about the last, 4 minutes or so of that game, very ready to talk about an entirely different discussion, just completely different to how the game ended and where we can sit right now. Maybe a little bit of a just a sigh of relief right now because Louisville gets to play one more game at least, taking on Miami tomorrow at 2:30, a team that Louisville just went down and handled in Coral Gables. I believe it was Coral Gables, right? But taking it on Miami, and they had a great shooting night. Will they be able to do it again? We'll see, because tonight was anything but that for the Louisville Cardinals, and it really was. Let's just start off on the positive part. Let's just get the positivity that I have in my system and go ahead and get it out there. And that is my man Zougris was an absolute beast there in the second half. He took over for Louisville, and we talk about times you know what you get out there with our guy Zougris. You throw him out there, and you're going to get a little bit of chaos. He's going to throw his body around. You're going to get some fouls. You're going to get just a little bit of nonsense. Will things roll the right way? Well, today things were rolling the right way, and Zougris is one of those players, and I say that I'm avoiding saying his first name. Was it Vangelis? Vangelis Zougris is a guy that I fell in love with tonight as a Louisville Cardinals fan. Looking at him, looking at what he was being able to put together, I love the energy. He's everything that I've kind of been wanting to see from our interior presence. I want to see a guy who's not afraid to get down there and bang down low with some of the other big bodies. Everybody else, Fruit, who is drawing a ton of ire tonight with his performance, as well as some of the other guys. Khalifa, there's a couple moments that I took a little positivity out of Khalifa, but again, right back to that usual, like, a man your size should not be playing down to the way that you do. You play so much smaller, and I don't understand it. Again, I give him a little bit of a pass because everything going on with Ramadan and maybe not having enough energy or not getting the medication or whatever else he needs at this moment right now. But that being said, unfortunately, this is game time. This is a time when you need to show up, and this is a time that I think, if anything, and I know he got to start the game, but Zougris, got pulled within the first few minutes of the game, and really, it's more of I don't want to say a gag bit, but it kind of feels that way, right? When Zougris goes out there, you're never really taking him too seriously, but today he performed in a manner that tells us that we have to take him seriously. While only having 7 points in the end, he did have 4 rebounds, an assist while playing 18 minutes. And this is just a situation, though, where he gave his body. He gave the effort. He gave that second, just the fight. And I hate to do it because I understand that's the Kenny Payne analogy, the fight. Yeah, it's a joke, and it's a bit that we make on here. But at the same time, he has fight. He's got the heart that I want to see every Louisville basketball player play with. And dare I say, if he doesn't have a little bit of aura there at the end of the game, swatting that ball away, getting enough time, getting the ball, and then also pulling down a rebound, and then dabbing up the Louisville fans on the sideline. Pure aura from my guy Zougris. So I want to give him just a little bit of shine, just a little bit of appreciation that I feel like he hasn't gotten, and maybe just showing that he truly has a place here for Louisville. And I know Ethan Moore, even James Strebel discussed it with Kendrick Haskins last week as well, talking about getting him more playing time. I think he's kind of shown if Louisville's going to have any extra potential time in the NCAA tournament, in the ACC tournament, he's going to have to do something. There's going to have to be something he brings, because otherwise the big men you have are just not up to snuff. Well, real quick, another positive, Ryan Conwell. He was, I dare to say, I felt personally like he got a little bit scared. He was missing shots. He was not confident in himself there for a lot of the game. I could see a couple times where he passed up a three or a shot here or there just because they just weren't going down for him. And I could see that he just was not showing a lot of confidence. Well, thank goodness he got whatever confidence he needed at the end there, because those 2 buckets by him to really seal the game for Louisville, definitely. So big shout out, props to both Ryan Conwell, Zougris. We're going to need performances like that, or at least what we saw at the end of the game from both of them moving forward, especially if Louisville wants to have an opportunity to beat Miami, to take on Virginia, likely Virginia, and to have any chance to play for I guess another ACC title berth. We will see. That being said, I'm sorry if you wanted the positive, if you wanted the excitement, if you wanted the celebration, that was it. That was kind of it for me, if I'm going to be honest. Now, if we want to be realistic of where this team stands and where we are going with the squad, I am not probably your shining beacon of positivity. Dare I say, I will be Lachlan McLean. If you need a little bit of reality check radio, reality check YouTube, I guess, in the circumstance, video, whatever you want to call it, I guess I can be your guy. Because I wrote like literally an entire 8-paragraph, I guess just tirade that I was planning on going on if this game went south and it looked like it was heading that way. Fortunately, I guess we don't really have to use it, but I think there's a lot of truths that are sitting right now with this team. And if you don't see it, if you think it's just like that's just how the game of basketball is, if you think there's not a lot that we really need to sit at home with and really look at ourselves and look at this team and say, what is the pinnacle? Where can Pat Kelsey, this coaching staff, this team in this bubble, where can this team take us? But I think more importantly, where can Pat Kelsey and this coaching staff take us? Because I don't have a lot of positivity and I don't have a lot of confidence in what I'm seeing. I've seen 2 years of Pat Kelsey, and I'm starting to get to a point where I feel like I've kind of seen enough. And I'm not saying fire Pat Kelsey, move on from this coaching staff. I'm not saying any of that. But at this point, I've seen enough to know who you are. I know good and well he's not going anywhere. He's not going to move on. I still have appreciation for where he brought this program following the Kenny Payne stuff. Again, that's not the standard for Louisville. So thank you for that part. That being said, I don't have a feeling right now that Louisville basketball has a sense of a dream or ambition of competing for a title again. A national title, an ACC title, a regular ACC title. I don't feel like that ambition is resonating with this program. The sense that I get is we are more than happy to go clean up the bums on our schedule. And I get they've had a couple nice games. And again, they beat Kentucky at the beginning of the year. And that's fine. You did a middling team. Kentucky, we see what Mark Pope is at this point, and it ain't good. You're not winning until this last weekend, or I guess this past weekend. You haven't really seen Louisville do anything of consequence against a team that actually can compete for any sort of title. Beating Miami was fine, but that doesn't tell me that you can take it to the next level. And maybe it's going to take years of it. Maybe it's going to be like the Danny Hurley situation. And again, I have my doubts that it's a similar situation of Danny Hurley going from Rhode Island and going to Connecticut and getting them to a championship game, let alone back-to-back titles, right? I think that's a shot in the dark for anybody to be like that. That being said, this is that kind of time of the season that I can't help but notice, if it weren't for the heroics of Zougris, of Ryan Conwell, of guys like that playing the way that they're playing, You're looking at Louisville taking a loss, bailing out in the first game that they're playing in the ACC tournament, probably going into the NCAA tournament. Maybe you get a 6 seed. Maybe they use that opportunity. And we've heard glimpses out there that I think a lot of people potentially out there on the committee may be more than happy to drop Louisville a seed line or so. I mean, heck, they said we were shocked last year when Louisville was an 8. Could we be even more shocked this year if Louisville isn't able to put together a couple more wins and pad that resume, especially when you want to talk about the WOB, the wins above bubble, and the lack thereof that Louisville has there. That being said, I just can't shake this feeling. And I know you all hate this this kind of, I guess, just comparison. And I like Chris Mack as a coach. I really had nothing against Chris Mack at Louisville. I thought he deserved more time. I'm being honest. But I can't help shake that same Chris Mackiness that we're getting from Pat Kelsey. And the more abrasive he's been with the media, guys like Matt McGavick in the past, just everything about it just kind of rubs me the wrong way a little bit. And it makes me a little bit nervous because we see this team start off pretty high, pretty decent. You see guys coming into the preseason, Luke Hancock and people like that who've been seeing him in practice, and they're like, man, this team's full of shooters. These guys are gunning it. Like they're talking up ideas, dreams about the potential of a national title. And then they get out there and they play, and they look pretty good starting out. They're exciting to watch. They're banging threes. They go out there and dismantle Kentucky, except for a little stretch where they came back through the end. But they dismantled Kentucky, and then they played some rival teams that unfortunately just weren't up to the level of where they usually are in the rivalry. I'm talking Cincinnati's had a little bit better of a year since then, but Memphis, Indiana, those kind of teams. That being said, as the year progresses and as it wanes on, we start to see, I hate to say the Chris Mack effect. I don't know if it's a Skip Prosser effect. And I said that I would never want to hear Skip Prosser, his name said on this channel again, but I'm bringing it up. And I just maybe now at this point, and if this ever goes south and this isn't going to continue on, don't ever give me any guy who's really associated with the Skip Prosser kind of thing. I just don't need it. I'll be honest, because the lack of defense, the defensive intensity is completely missing. And then at the end of the year, they just kind of fall off. Like all the wheels start to really fall off, and you're going on down a downward spiral, and it just doesn't make you feel confident that this team is going to be able to compete or put together any kind of magical, end of season run in the NCAA tournament that you're really hopeful that you kind of knew under Pitino. How many years do we have complaints about Pitino? And again, I understand early on and play times in there in the middle. I remember Rick Pitino was not putting together lots of strands of wins. I remember a lot of first-round bailouts in the Big East tournaments. I remember first-round bailouts in the NCAA tournament. So I guess there's a little bit, I want to leave a little space that Pat Kelsey can show that is different. But right now, I'm just seeing a lot of the same. It just seems a lot of the Skip Prosser line. There isn't a lot of guys that are able to put it together and really win when it matters most, which is for Louisville, is in March Madness, is in the NCAA tournament, is completing a win for an ACC tournament. I understand Duke is probably the best team in the nation, and they're likely to win the NCAA title right now. But it's not too much for me to ask that Louisville basketball should be competing and playing down the wire with the best of the best. And that's kind of where I sit with it right now. I had a whole spiel about Isaac McNeely. You know how I feel about Isaac McNeely. I feel like a lot of the fan base feels that way about Isaac McNeely. Don't give a damn. Don't care how many threes you're going to be shooting. Don't care about any of that, because no matter what, you're going to give it back to the other team. You're going to allow them to score sevenfold whatever he scores in the end. Outside of that, it's just a weird place that I'm sitting. And maybe this is that opportunity. Maybe this is my call to action that I'm reading to Pat Kelsey. This is the time for this team to maybe do this for Louisville fans. Louisville fans like myself need this right now. We need some kind of shot of adrenaline into our system. We need a boost right now because things have been kind of feeling a little bit low, given the lack of quality wins against top tier teams. If you want to make Louisville fans have something to beat their chests about a little bit, get excited and really hope to build toward going into next season. And then, of course, just give us a sense of positivity off the end of the season. Let's put together a run. Let's put together some wins in this tournament. And let's put together a couple wins in the NCAA tournament. Pat Kelsey, as much as, I have my struggles and my frustrations with Pat Kelsey, I really want to love him, and I really want to embrace him. I really want to like him. I really want to put him on that pedestal as one of those top tier guys who deserves to be a Louisville basketball coach. Right now, it feels a lot like a mid-tier guy. Just it very feels like a mid-major guy who's trying to fill those shoes, but those shoes are 7 sizes too big. So that's all I ask. Do something. Put together some magic. Michael Brown, get back. I understand he's been out, but get back and put together a couple wins to give me some joy, some excitement, something to write home about that I haven't had since 2017. That's what I ask, guys. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below if you haven't already. Obviously excited about the win, but got to put together a few more to give me something positive to really take away from this season in the end. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. If you haven't already, do me a solid favor, smash that freaking like button, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon to stay notified for all of our latest videos. You can follow me at Justin Soforo on Twitter, and of course ESPN 680 93.9 The Ville on all social media platforms as well. I will see you guys next time. Go Cards!